appease Egyptians who've been demanding the resignation of Shafiq?
We have to make the distinction between the resignation of Mr. Shafiq and the appointment of Mr. Assam. The people were pushing for Shafiq to resign simply because, as you just said now, he was appointed by former President Mubarak. And we want a trace of the last regime. We want to clean up the body of Egypt and its mentality. So I don't know exactly Mr. Assam would be that man that would be accepted or not, because we didn't have a lot of information about him. He was the Minister of Transport, and I'm not sure whether the accidents and the trains were in his era or not. So this is why, anyhow, we have now to celebrate the resignation of Shafiq, and after that we have to see the acceptance of Mr. Assam.
Mr. Abdullah Al-Shal, I'm afraid we're going to have to leave it there because the phone line with Cairo there is very bad. Our apologies for that. Let's speak once again to Ayman Mohildeen, who is also in Cairo for us, covering this breaking news story where, again, if you're just joining us, Prime Minister Ahmed Shafiq has resigned, has now been replaced by Essam Sharaf, who was a former transport minister in 2004 under Hosni Mubarak. Let's cross to Tariq Basdi at our web desk now for the latest details on this announcement, because it was made on Facebook. Tariq.
Well, thanks, Folly. The announcement of the resignation of the Prime Minister, as you say, appears to have been made online. It was this website. I think we can bring it in vision there. Yep, that's the Supreme Council for the Armed Forces Facebook page. It's where previous announcements have been posted and where the it first appeared. This is, in fact, the official announcement, the acceptance by the Supreme Council for the resignation of the Prime Minister. The statement goes on to say it has given Dr. Essam Sharaf the job of forming the new government. Well, it's very interesting to see that during the revolution in Egypt, the web played a key role in organising the protesters, also giving them a voice. Now the military and the top brass, at that matter, are also very much aware of the power of the web and its power to get a message out. Back to you, Follow.
Thank you very much, Tariq. Indeed, the power of the web, and the web is where we closely following the situation in Libya as well, where warplanes are in the skies above rebel-held areas as Muammar Gaddafi attempts to fight back. In the last hour, we've received reports of a new airstrike in the town of AlJazeera. And after a day of fighting for control of the oil town of Brega, there's been another air attack there. Tony Bertley has sent this report on the battle for Brega's control, rather.
It was a call to arms that was answered by thousands. From the towns and the desert, opposition fighters gathered in Ajdabiya to repel an attack by forces loyal to Gaddafi. Their weapons ranged from the powerful tanks and anti-aircraft batteries to those more at home in a museum. There was confusion and disorganization. Shells were fired out. Complaints returned as residents ahead explained they were coming under fire from their own side. What about the capability? I mean, you've got a lot of men here and you've got a lot of weapons. Can the men use the weapons?
God willing, they will learn to use the weapons effectively.
The conviction of the volunteers has to be admired. The capability is open to question. Gaddafi's forces were said to number around 300 men. They attacked the strategically important town of Brega at first light, and witnesses said they began firing indiscriminately.
This is in the morning. Many people come in mafia for Gaddafi. He killed many people in the morning.
Heavy weapons were sent forward and hundreds of trucks and cars stacked with ammo and guns taken from captured army stockpiles. Casualties came back. Many hurt, he told us, many dead.
This doesn't seem to have been a full-fledged assault, more like a probing attack, but it shows that Gaddafi forces are strong, they can strike at will, and that the Libyan leader shows no signs of giving up. Quite the contrary, he's hitting back.
10 kilometers from Brega and more forces congregated. No one seemed to know exactly what was happening. Then a Libyan Air Force bomber circled overhead. Its first bombing run hit close to the centre of the fighting near Brega University. The second hit our position. landing 70 meters away. Miraculously, no one was hurt. Then Gaddafi's fighters fled.
We suddenly saw some Toyota cars with anti-aircraft batteries. They started firing mortar rounds. The shells fell near us.
They left behind spent mortar, shell and machine gun casings and 10 dead civilians. 21 people were wounded, including a 7-year-old boy who survived a bullet lodged in his nose.
These people who were killed, were they fighters or were they ordinary people?
Ordinary people. Ordinary people. He is going when Gaddafi's people. He is coming to university.
2 of the bodies were said to be of Gaddafi fighters. It was claimed one carried ID showing he was from Niger in Africa, but it's hard to verify. Despite the howls of bravado, this brazen attack has provoked both fear and anger and reminds everyone of the violent threats of Gaddafi. On Wednesday, we witnessed why the opposition is desperate for a no-fly zone and why it may not have the military capability to liberate all of Libya by force just yet. But this conflict seems far from over, and the question is how many more Libyans are going to die before it is. Tony Bertley, AlJazeera, Brega, Eastern Libya.
All right, let's speak now to AlJazeera's Hoda Abdelhamid, who joins us live from the eastern Libyan city of Benghazi. Obviously, Hoda, a very volatile situation there still. First, let's get, I understand, a reaction from the rebel council there to this offer of mediation from Venezuela. What are they saying?
Well, certainly they're saying that they don't need any kind of mediation except for a mediation that will find an exit for Gaddafi. Now, that's according to one person I spoke to at the National Council. They say that all they want to do is not have any kind of discussion or dialogue with the government. It's way past that time now, and all they want to do is really having a discussion with the international community. They are asking for the international community to recognize the council as the legitimate representative of the Libyan people. Already the Libyan people here in the east and every other liberated town. Now, they do underline that if they're at the moment headquarters here in Benghazi, it's because Tripoli is still not liberated, but that National Council would eventually move to Tripoli. Basically, all they want at the moment is legitimacy from the international community.
But one wonders, Hoda, how strong is the opposition's grip on the east? Are they able to defend the territory that they've already acquired? I mean, there's talk of going to Tripoli, but can they hold on to this territory that they have already?
Well, it's a very, very difficult situation, and as we've been talking about, it's also very volatile and fluid. They do have popular support. They do have a lot of army commanders who have switched sides and who are helping them out. But it is a part of the country where there isn't much there. They do know that to keep these gains, not only they have to defend themselves, but they have to also administer all this part of the country, bring back life to people. They have to have businesses open.